Hello. We interrupt this live stream performance with an update to our terms and conditions of use as of February 2017. These are the terms for which you agree. It's a platform, not a financial institution, merchant, creditor, charity, advisor, broker of any kind. It's designed to allow a creator, see definition below, to register and customize a page such as scripted behind her. In a nutshell, we do the thing, and then whatever. Sorry. Not sorry. In a nutshell, it's a British thing, and everything will be dealt with in the British courts.
I'm going to the gym.
Approaches are that's where the alignment is between Graham and I.
Okay, so what is bringing down the fourth wall project, Graham?
A terrible spell, and part of that spell, the humans have the campfire circuitry. For whatever reason, probably because it. So like, the television engages that, and like that's when your tribal elders are passing on information and stuff. So like those things are hijacked and make everybody feel like their audience. And like if you watch characters in series that do break the fourth wall, and that's what the fourth wall I'm referencing when I do it. It's the wall that behind which you are audience and not a human. So
Okay.
Hashtag paintball for Jesus, @GrimGrizz, hashtag break the fourth wall.
So like you do like break the fourth wall that doesn't exist and be like,
Break the fourth wall a little bit.
you really helped me break the fourth wall. Like, you know, it's just people.
Good poetry is it's definitely always trying to break the fourth wall.
Always tried, as GrimGrizz says, to break the fourth wall to the degree that I can.
Woohoo! We have a new donation from Stephen D20. Hello, Upcycle. Hello, Neutrino. Hello, Neil, Chad, Cassie, Dust to Dust, Lantern Man. How you doing, Lantern Man? Jeremy, you first saying that he behold his terrible aspect. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal. So say we all. We got all that sorted. These matters shall be resolved in an English court. Welcome, everybody. This is the Beholda U stream, and it's brought to you by the agency deck card of the show. Dun-dun-dun. The Four of Diamonds from the agency deck. Agency deck to set the mood. The mood, you'll need to be familiar with this material from back in the day. Play.
First of all, discussing 4chan publicly in a context like this, in some kind of studious or serious context, violates the ethos of 4chan. You know, who am I?
He served podcast with my daughter, Michaela Peterson, twice. I think that's an admirable moral principle.
What you are saying, to be the opposite of Kathy Newman in this context, is accurate in that a lot of powerful people are there through inertia, are there through nepotism, are there through corporate memes because they play the game.
Hail Hydra.
There is this elite contempt, and to some degree it was associated with the political class, but on further analysis, it's not the political class,
Right.
It's the chattering literati, the chattering educated literati, and I actually happen to think that that's the case. That
are we taking this agitprop at face value instead of mocking it, clowning it, and basically rendering the tool impotent? These are not kind, caring people who care about your grandma in your neighborhood. These are power-hungry sociopaths who will smile at your face and do whatever they need to when the lights are off.
I suppose
Any of these calls of unity, in my view, are always sleight of hand to marginalize or oppress a certain population.
there isn't anything more powerful to fight that than spoken truth.
I agree.
Because that's quite a radical statement, I would say, but I think it does speak to this T-shirt that I mentioned earlier.
Hail Hydra!
Yeah.
If you disagree with me, there is some possibility that you know something I don't. And if you
Yeah.
disagree, I could learn something from you. Can we create a narrative and string along legacy media types? Does this new technological platform have enough power to bend and twist what has been the standard means of delivering the cultural narrative for decades?
Organized goal-seeking minority is going to be able to punch very much above its weight in terms of getting the achievements it wants.
It only works well when the actual orientation is love. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more.
And humor.
Well,
Because if they're using,
it's very rare. Go ahead, talk about humor.
Because I do think you're a bad actor. I think it's the mindset, and I don't think that mindset's at all irrational. That was that ethos brought to life
there's a part of me that thinks, Jesus Christ, don't you have anything better to do? But there's also a part of me that thinks, well, wait a second, there's something really complicated going on here that has to do with the redistribution of power and also the acquisition of a voice by people who are individuals and not part of a corporate group, let's say, but who have access to tremendous technological power, and they're serving the function of jesters, and they're serving the function of comedians. And I think comedians in particular are the canaries in the coal mine for a free culture. As soon as the comedians are threatened, you know something's, as soon as the comedians are nervous, you know something's up. Because
Hail Hydra.
anonymous, decentralized, and evanescent.
Where by your performance, you're turning a third party by exploiting their weaknesses into an unwitting performer on their own.
You know, you need a bit of it, but you can't have too much of it.
The networks have to assume that everybody watching has no memory and no education and no attention span, because the bandwidth requirements demand that. And now that's all gone. That's not an insult, by the way.
Sure.
But it was, in some sense, you're documenting something that's so revolutionary that even the people using it don't know how revolutionary it is. So let me ask you about this. So now all of a sudden, the network, everyone's a TV station. Oh.
And after all the wonderfulness, we finally get to the key point.
Sudden, the network, everyone's a TV station. Okay, so now.
Hail Hydra.
And that's about as much as that can play before they shut the stream down for copyright.
We all know that there is no agency any living gent can see doing what is right for me. Is lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency.
And I don't know if you've seen it. You've seen it. There's been a horrible 30 minutes I had with Pastor Paul in which I failed to even bring up the fact that he talked to Vervaeke and let him off the hook for talking to Hermes, and then I had Paul on and let him off the hook for letting VVK off the hook for talking to Hermes. So anyway, we're going to need some savings throws. That's how these conversations go asynchronously, possibly, through reciprocal broadcastery. You get to pick between survival, social wisdom, or heart as the basis for your savings throw. I roll these dice: survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Based on your choice, the number, if it's over 10, you take half damage from the mind control that follows, and if it's over 10, you take full damage. But at least on this show, we want what's best for you. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. And say it in the Hive Mind chat, because an active chat makes the algorithm think this is an awesome stream. Survival, social, wisdom, heart, choose. Survivalists. That's a 10 for you. A 10 for you. Socialists. Hot 4 action. You're gonna need your bonuses. Lovers of wisdom. Coming in at a 6. We're gonna get you with this one. Hard folks. Dropping the deuce. That's the number 2 for you. Indigo kids, you got a triad at least. You got the 3. A 3. Do you not have the train loaded? Son of a... That one was only 30 seconds. Well, looky there, we got a claim from Phlebas that PVK said he's doing a whole Hermes convo with John. And if you do, ask him how his Hermes contact is any better than the raw contact. Because, I like a lot of stuff in that one. Stuff in that one. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Do we have sunshine? Yeah.
Don't take my sunshine away.
So, one of the things that's made it on the card today, actually, is this member complex thing. And that's a notion to the fact that we didn't really go through very many member berries in our conversation with Pastor Paul. And actually, if you don't want to waste the whole half hour watching it, give us the view count and let it play. But there was some reaping and looming done of it already by the effervescent Baxter. You can see his fancy thumbnail artistry right here, saliently landscaping. Look, there's that guy, not him. There, right there. So here's some of what he did with that. Right from this lands part. Okay.
Really in our infancy stage. But I do want to make the point that where we're at right now is we're an online community. We found ourselves here through, most of us, through PVK's YouTube channel. There have been other channels that have popped up, yours included, Broken Clock Tower, Grim Grizz, and others. And so, seeing what Paul was doing, extending the conversation, I think Jacob's innovation of taking what used to happen in voice chats on the Discord and bringing them out into the just chattings allows people who find their way here to be able to have some of those conversations. And so, I would think one of the things that PVK is talking about explicitly right now is what are we doing? And I think really what this corner is founded around is love. I think it's the core of what we do. There to have Chad share.
Look, what? No, it's the capacity for care, the agency. We're trying to increase each other's agency. Lance.
We all know that there is no agency any living gent can see. Doing what is right for me is lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency.
Okay, and so this is the Beholda U cornered stream for February 8th of 2024. Red deck card of the show coming right up. We've managed to hit our Kofi goal, which means we have to move the goalpost yet again to maintain the he only needs a little bit more effect. Red Church card of the show, the Deuce of Spades. I think maybe if I refresh this page, it'll do a fancy thing. Yes, look, it does a fancy thing. Not that. This. Yes. Oh, you missed it. There was all these. They were doing fireworks and stuff. It was doing the fireworks. Okay, this is a show. And so somewhere on this card got generated before the show, and it has things I'm supposed to say during the show. And one of those things is 3 slices. And then that refers to the process of, okay, so you have a live stream, right? And then that's the first slice. And then you cut off all the nonsense and the superfluous, not the essential, but the superfluous branding. You cut all that out, and it comes out as a bris edition, so it's a bris edition, and then if you go back in after and like take clips of the stuff they reference during the stream and insert it in, that's the kintsugi cut, because you're pouring gold into the cracks of the thing. And that is the notion of the 3 slices, which is the raw stuff, the Briss edition, and then the kintsugi cut. There'll be a pop quiz. So there will be a pop quiz. Remember it.
This agency. We want.
I'm going to the gym.
So most of these stuffs on the card was generated while I was watching Pastor Paul's homeroom release, which is the 8 o'clock in the morning release. He's throwing videos out left and right or whatever. But the one that comes out at 8 Central is the homeroom one. And sometimes I do some adjunct professing, and these notes were generated from that. So I figure I'll just do one of these asynchronous conversations that's a lot more comfortable than the ones where you're like, okay, we're recording now.
Like Hobo's Lullaby. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the town go drifting by. Listen to the steel rails a-hummin'. That's a hobo's lullaby.
Wow. I still haven't loaded it. That's amazing. Well, there's only 6 things to do now. Here's the new Spoon Man branding.
Oh, there's Joe.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. We're in business. Oh, I'm way over here. Oh, well.
Yeah, play like we're out in the crowd.
Something like that.
That ceiling fan psyop is wild. Why spoon is the question. All right, and guess what? I'm feeling out of the touch. So we're going to be visiting Miriam on today's stream for our secret message of the word of the day, the 3 Miriams. We'll take now from the Hive Mind suggestions for the what we go to Miriam with before we do the word of the day. You know how that goes. I'm out of time, but I'm out of my head. Shake it up is all that we know. Using the bodies up as we go. I'm waking up to fantasies. The shades all around aren't the colors we see. Broken ice still melts in the sun, and times that are broken can often be won again. We're so alone. Take a look around. You're out of touch. I'm out of time. But I'm out of my head. Well, before we get to the important news, before we get to the adjunct professing, we have the important news that we have managed the symbolic summit grift goal update, moving the goalpost, and we're now at 81% of the goal. Thanks to everybody in the Shadow CABAL for making that possible. I am amazed at the amount of the generosity of the people of this little corner and of Pajot's cult following that this has been allowed to happen. This is all part of funding, making sure I make it to the Tarpon Springs symbolic World Summit, to the VIP lounge, where I'll be not flying. This is the route the assassins can shoot at me on. It'll be a good time. Thank you, everybody, for making that happen. Special thanks to the Shadow CABAL. So say we all. So, and as I mentioned, that memberberry complex is there's this thing that Paul goes into. We'll get to it later, but it's about how the ships can go down. And what we have on the Discord, and I would prefer to instantiate. I've discovered that maybe what we need to have happen is that someone takes up the reins of the clip stream as a channel, and these, rather than the segments of this show, they become like the channels therein of themselves. I don't know. The Lobster Monkey Lighthouse. What? Oh, load up that one thing. Son of a goat. You could load this stuff up before we start streaming.
I listened to him. I think he is telling us the truth. That is indeed what he wants. Those of you who are sort of sniffing for duplicity or grift or dishonesty, I don't smell any of that here. I think he's telling us. I see this guy. I see both of these guys, but I see this guy as being very, very genuine and honest. He is telling us exactly what he thinks.
The list? Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room?
I want to cast Magic Missile. The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet.
I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile.
Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here.
I'm attacking the darkness.
Okay. Hey, thanks for the help ups, and Clint and Stevens and Neutrino and Cassandra. She never forgets the magic like the rest of you. There's this magical thing in StreamYards that'll star a chat if somebody puts some money on it, like this one from Dust to Dust, in case you want to get into the little star chat box. But I also grab some that I catch while I see the hive minds flying by, such as this one from this little corner. So how exactly do we have Set as the god of attention? The Egyptian god Set? Or is it just haha TV Set, get it? Okay, so in the story, right, Set overthrows Osiris, and Osiris is essentially the programming of the church. And the television set has overthrown the programming of the church, because when we first moved into this town in the old rental houses, they all had these little nooks that people had used like at one point for statues and stuff, like little shrines to their religion, and then they became like little phone nooks, and then Now we don't even have phones, but we do all have a big black screen altars in our house to set, and so the altar of the home became the set, and what's programmed through there is actually more in service to Set than it would be to Osiris. Yada yada. Congrats on hitting the 100% funding for the Symbolic World Contest, a monumental meeting of the beards. And yes, as you saw, we've moved those goalposts. Mystic Lantern with. Can anyone recommend a large, detailed book on Greek gods that could be on the coffee table? I'm considering conversion to Grecian spirituality. Spirit, that word. That's word. Oh, and speaking of words, we do have a nomination and winning word of syzygy, which will be taking over to Miriam once we get any of this adjunct professing done. And we'll be doing this adjunct professing on today's homeroom. YouTube disrupting our Dunbar numbers. Possibilities for Christian community or distortion dystopia? Oh, distortion.
Hi, this is Paul. I want to talk about YouTube, Dunbar, money, all of those things on this video. I always think that's going to be a little video, but we'll see how little it is. So this morning on Luke's live stream, T-Grog came in and he's been haunting the comment section with his physicalist atheist. And he told a bit of his story on the live stream that I'm not going to deal with in this video. I might grab it for another video, but it was so wonderful to have him in there and have him show up with his face and voice and give a little bit of his story. So that was tremendous. But then the conversation took another turn that Sam sort of took it on. So we'll start there. I'm so glad you came in. This is awesome.
I'm retired. I got to do something.
I got a question.
Send me an email.
Can this little corner get bigger than a Dunbar number in terms of the number of people who are
What's a Dunbar number?
The Dunbar number is sort of like chimpanzee troops tend to have about 200-ish, chimpanzees, and you can remember that many faces and sort of keep a mental history of their personality and all the nice things they've done for you and all the bad things they've done for you, right? It's like a credentialing system in your mind, but it only seems to be able to handle a certain number. You can't do this with 10,000 things, maybe a few hundred at most. And so I feel like we're dodging the credentialing system because we're below a Dunbar number in this little corner.
Okay, so the previous conversation with this was about the question of
revolutionary it is. So it was in some sense, you're documenting something that's so revolutionary that even the people using it don't know how revolutionary it is. So let me ask you about this. So now all of a sudden, the network, everyone's a TV station. Oh,
expertise. And T-Grog had expressed annoyance that people like Jonathan Peugeot are talking about all sorts of things and not sticking to their expertise. The same thing has been leveled against Jordan Peterson, the Decoding the Gurus guys. This is kind of a standard thing for them. People should stay in their lane. They should only talk about what they're expert in, and nobody should listen to them if they're not talking about what they're expert in. A part of the problem with this is that the world isn't made up of silos, and human beings can't live in silos. None of the new atheists were continually called on the fact that they were almost all wandering out of their areas of expertise. None of them had any expertise in the Bible. And we could have a very long conversation about what that means, because that is if you actually know a little bit about a field, suddenly what you learned in, let's say, what I learned in college reading Thomas Kuhn's History of Scientific Revolutions is that this monolithic view of expertise is not.
What are you even talking about?
I just finished this morning a conversation with.
Come on now. What's this bit?
Different ways to tribe.
Oh, is that the Garth? Is that the Garth Brooks song, "A New Way to Tribe"?
A new way to tribe. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're experiencing here is okay. So I don't know a lot about Marxism, but I know it's about the proletariat seizing the means of production. And we here have seized the means of production or have been granted the means of production because the they're like trustees on the content attention farm, trustees on the attention farm. And but we've decided to talk to each other against their best wishes. And now we are this like the reaping and the looming that Waves does and that Baxter does. That's reaping and looming as we do on the Discord. And I've been trying to be the hardware store where we come together to learn the skills of broadcasting and the techniques and tricks such as brandings and thoses and thoses and thoses. And anyway, so what we have is you can gain the participatory knowledge of basically, I guess forever towns have had like local access television, but that's really inconvenient. Now with the power of the internet, and we can do it from our homes. This local access television is global access television. Thanks to the Blue Church card of the show, the Five of Diamonds. The Five of Diamonds.
A new way to try. Sorry. There are no experts here, guys. Just so you know, nobody's ever claimed to be one. That's the only 2 cents I wanted to put in. Like I would say, I think that Luke is an expert on personalism, but he would never claim to be an expert on such a thing. And if he did, I would be like, "You're not a fucking expert." But that was my whole beef. I'm really sorry. I'm really glad to hear from you, T Grog. It was fascinating discussion, guys. Really good. And Tim, what's up, Tim? Holla. I gotta go.
I do have to run, guys. And Paul, I don't hate you. I think your ideas are unclear and I don't understand them.
Right.
That's all.
That's not Paul's job. Paul isn't the have the ideas person. He is the landscaper or the salience landscaper director of everybody. It's not Paul's job to invent the propositions
or a catalyst. He's not that kind of leader. Everybody wants.
Well, we're going to talk about the Heidelberg.
The Heidelberg propositions. I just thought, and if we get our production values high enough, we can end with our enslavement of the AI production models. We could probably do a paintball for Jesus version of a Sally Struthers commercial. And like, you have to be old enough to know what a Sally Struthers commercial it is. But there's like this big fat white lady walking amongst starving Africans saying, "Send us your money, we'll feed these kids." And but instead we'll have her walking through by like kids on the video games. And we'll be like, "Send us your money, we'll get these kids off video games and into paintball and urban combat training." And but with the power of AI. With the power of AI.
Slime! What? It's a river of slime!
And now I proceed in faith that he'll get to somewhere in here I want to make a comment or have a note about.
Confession at some point. So
Catechism. I'm the expert. It's Heidelberg Catechism.
Thank you.
Have a good workout.
Enjoy your workout, Pete Grog.
Is everything all right in here?
Yes, Daddy. Now, what'll that asshole think of next? Is anybody got a dime?
Gotta go.
Right.
Bye.
Oh man, Tim, unfortunate. Come and rain on our parade.
I'm going to jump ahead here. Back to the Dunbar number.
On the institutional and the credentialing just for a second, because I mean, you can find the same information that you could learn in a college online, and you literally can put yourself through the education. Now you don't get tested necessarily, but it's a new world.
But sometimes you do, and the test is for you. What are the three cuts? Three cuts we discussed earlier in this stream. Say it in the hive mind for a +3 on the surprise saving throws coming up.
Oh shoot, where was I going with this? Attention.
It's a new world for what it means to be an expert, because it also
How do we
means
control who gets accredited and how we can leverage that power, that authority into power that we can use for a point, so that we
well,
can
now
get the goal that we
YouTube
want?
YouTube controls it now with who they allow to ascend.
Yeah.
Because really, because it measures for expertise in the algo. Like, it's gonna give you the best if you want it.
But
and so
YouTube can allow that to happen organically, or it can try and meddle with it. But the more it try and meddles with it, the more it weakens itself.
Yeah.
The better it allows that to be an organic bottom-up process without doing too much top-down meddling, the better YouTube is.
I'm not a cat.
That's what I'm talking about. There are controls of something they don't want to get X too big, but if they do allow things to come up through that are quality, that have a quality to them.
Which is why my channel is so small.
Well, I know you've colonized Grail Country pretty hard.
Hey, and if you're still here, you should check out President Foxman's stuff. I just haven't featured it yet.
But it's growing.
Well, this is I'm always asking Nate and trying to keep up. I'm just like, do you want me to be doing these on your channel? Because I don't know. I mean, it's probably why it's gotten as big as it has, but I don't know. I'm always, what's funny about the whole internet thing is it's constantly flipping my own narrative. Cause like I started out somewhat of a Luddite, and then I got onto Twitter and then eventually YouTube for.
We get together at conferences and stuff. I'm going to try and talk the estuary folks to doing like barbecues that the campers can come camp at. But we're also doing something in Bosquedel on April 8th. Bosquedel, Illinois. That's when there, Jay. That's when.
I don't know, adult conversations and things, this kind of engagement. And then I'm like, all of a sudden, well, I don't know, this seems like a real communion. Like, I like a lot of these people. I've developed a relationship with these people. Well, that goes against my narrative. And then scale, I don't know. Like, I try to be open to scale, but like I'm doubtful of it. I'm doubtful of extrapolate. I think it's a limitation of our own finitude and our embodiedness. You can't pay attention to everything and to 500 people. I mean, not meaningfully.
But think about how Christianity deals with the Dunbar number, and always has. Jesus has Peter, James, and John.
Yeah.
And then he has the 12 disciples, and then he has the 72, and then he has the 20, and the church in Corinth, and and then there are multiple churches in Corinth. And I mean, and so now, and you have the house church and discipleship and the small group and the cat-sized church and the mega church and the book and the denomination. I mean, we are working on this again.
I don't know. I got let's see. We've done okay. The only one we haven't done right now yet is the echo chamber light buoy. The Soap Street Deadwood stuff, that's all us seizing the means of production that we have. We did the participatory ensemble bit. The member berries. Okay, there was a member berry I wanted to bring up. That I think is worth something. My Fancy Pants Thunder Bay promo, which you can find by going over to the channel like this, not in the Elite Contempt video we just saw, but we go to this part here and then over to this guy and be like, what were we looking for? Son of a Thunder Bay. The Thunder Bay trailer. Let's do that one.
And as the language keeps changing, we lose each other through time.
The paradox of communication and cooperation.
The desire to instrumentalize all things towards desire.
Well, freedom is understood as freedom from restraint on desire.
Exactly. There you go.
Well, now I'm a dragon. Now you're not really a horse. Whoop, I'm a woman. Well, I'm a man. Are you something else? Well, probably. This is what we're talking about.
It's 1984 and Brave New World at the same time. Like, who thought that this was possible?
I trust Jonathan and I trust Paul, but like, if we want to make a civilization, that's got to scale in some fashion. So
what I'm doing is I'm building an altar.
We're trying to network a lot of these emerging communities of practice together.
I'm building an altar, and I can't bring fire from the sky. It's a model that's community sourced and communally sourced and ancestrally sourced.
Is you build new homes, new ways of people being together and gathering together, and you build, and then they network together, and you steal the culture. Like, who are we to do this, and where's this authority coming from?
But I can build the altar, and I can bend my knee, and I can pray. Come to Thunder Bay.
Move up levels of this. We used to have the triad of the university, the monastery, and the church.
I think this is a super helpful point.
Participate and curate a worldview for people. Yeah. The university emphasizes knowledge. We can't understand evil because we've reduced it to morality, and we've reduced morality to individual choice. The monastery wisdom.
These people are possessed and are unwilling agents of a demon, and they're bringing about this system. And it's like
the church emphasizes, yeah, but that knowledge and that wisdom, that better be transferable to lives.
Evil is beyond immorality. It's not just the sum of individual immorality. Something larger is both using it and created by it.
I think that this moment and your work affords the possibility of going back into a medieval grimoire, right, and saying, okay, we can now understand this in a better way that the horror movie doesn't understand. This kind
of. Where are they meeting? It's an interesting place where they're meeting.
The reason I bring it up now is I love truffles. Have you ever had truffles?
I would say that as spokesfrog, I'm announcing that there's something polluted about the water in which we're all swimming, and that we better clean it up, or there's going to be the
Allegedly, Pastor Paul's got to go work on his sermon. allegedly. Were they, Anselman? Ooh. Hold on. That's awkward. Have a ducks.
Ducks eat bread.
They do. They like it.
All right, and now we're doing a special portion called Eugene Eugenics. And Eugene Eugenics This is where you might be familiar with our very own lobster monkey, Eugene. In the description of this video, I have put the prompt, which has generated this picture of lobster monkey Eugene. But if you play with AI image generators, you can perform some Eugene eugenics by pasting the prompt in the description in your generator of choice and seeing what Eugene it gives you. Seeing what Eugene it gives you. Embody a no-tech world, and we wouldn't have VNA. Yes, we just have to use our telepathy inherent in our species. If we didn't have the what do you call it? Prosthetic telepathy digital interfaces. We do telepathy through these prostheses because we haven't honed our own abilities and powers that are given to us naturally. Naturally.
Bing, bing, boom, boom, boom.
But by going over to the fancy start comments where the super chats go, and the ones that I pick up, we do need the Miriam Syzygy as part of our out of touch brandings for the day, and so that here's some more Paul while I load that up.
And that's why, Luke, let's give props to Jacob, who came up with the just chatting. Jacob did that, and we're continuing to work on this. But the expert thing, the expert thing is having a real hard time because of the Dunbar number thing, because experts are in the eye of the beholder, which again is personal.
Oh, snap.
Well, oh yeah. That reminds me. This is the what you call it, the cornered Beholda U stream. And in this eye of the beholder, see, even you as an individual node are a beholder because you have eyes on so many different platforms. And like part of what Paul goes into is how like Google can sink our ships on its will. And like the whole drama of whether or not my channel would survive monetization as I went over 1,000 subs is one of the member berries. And like the Thunder Bay promo, there's these pieces, these things that we all went through together that we can string along on like pearls, a pearl collage, much like the Navia Nibs cuts I did of my own channel in that beautiful video thumbnail with the boat. But those member berries, those things that we went through together, are that remind those of us that were there that they happened and cue up new people that things like that happened. Those member berries are part of the social memory complex, which is some of that bullshit I got from Ra, which might as well be Hermes, right? And now we'll slide on over to our good friend Miriam for the definition of syzygy, which is really cool because it's part of the one of the puzzles in the OA second season. Syzygy, or three Y's, is say it.
Syzygy.
The nearly straight line configuration of three celestial bodies, such as the sun, the Paul, the VVK, and the Pajot, during a solar or lunar eclipse. Wow. In the gravitational system.
Syzygy.
We're going to have an eclipse when we go to the April 8th Bosky Dell thing. Isn't that neat? Cornered. It's like Friends. See, I that was as close as the Friends branding logo I could get with the fonts I have. And that was a reference to how we are participatory ensemble television stations. And
I believe that if every Everyone sees what just a few people become when they wholly embrace their gifts. Others will awaken.
And now we do the fancy pants. What is the secret word of the day communicating to Miriam's agents by going through what's been the word recently? First one up is
Fissile.
Fissile, like missile, but not quite so magic. Describes materials that are capable of undergoing fission, the process in which the nucleus of a heavy atom is split apart. Not fusion, fission, releasing the energy. Is your soul fizzle?
Absolve.
To absolve someone is to free them from a responsibility or commitment, or from the consequences of guilt.
Absolve.
That signet.
Signet.
Refers to a seal officially used to give authority to a document in lieu of a signature, or the impression made by or as if by such a seal.
Signet.
All right, two more. Gratuitous.
Gratuitous.
Yes, all of this is a little...
Gratuitous.
Describes things that are not necessary, appropriate, or justified, as in a gratuitous insult or a gratuitous assumption. Son of a...
Zeitgeber.
Son of a...
Zeitgeber.
It refers to an environmental agent or event that provides the stimulus which sets or resets an organization's biological clock.
Zeitgeber.
The
Zeitgeber.
Resets the clock. Okay. If you're going and have your
Zeitgeber.
Reset your clock, it represents a
gratuitous signet
that will
absolve
the
fissile.
So see what happens is you go and get your Zeitgeber, and then you're absolved for being a fizzle soul and being divisive the whole time. What? I don't know.
In all our searching, the only thing we've found that makes the emptiness bearable is each other.
And that's everything on the cards for the show. Bonus, Miriam, because we're out of touch. Don't forget the 3 slices. Those give a bonus to these. Surprise saving throws. That's right. We get survival, social, wisdom, or heart. With the surprise, if you remembered the Briss edition or the Kintsugi cut editions of live streams and or videos. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. Survivalists with the deuce. Socialists also with the deuce. Lovers of wisdom, with that bonus you'll make it. That was a 6. Hard folks taking the rest of the week strong with the 19, prime 19 for you. Indigo kids, you're up to 9. 9. Wait, no, stop. And that was this was that their stream. Let me check for any more super chats. No, just everybody having a good time being the virtually not alone. Hey, Uncle, how's it going? That is I believe you that's a nice word. I think Chad's got something on. If you guys want something to do, thanks for being here with me for this one that we did just now. But you saw it a minute ago. All right, we're leaving on this one. Bye, everybody.